Hello everybody, I am back. We have the tutorial of the house. This is where we left off. We had a row of the spine tiles that are going to go up on top. We just need to make sure that they go up to top. I just recently saved, so if we crash, we'll be at least at this point. So hello, Curvan. Nice to see you back. I'm glad you can make it back. I'm just gonna finish this off. I have, like I said, a little bit off. I need to make sure that we get the spine up here, and then we add some details for the doors and the windows. And then we should be set. Right now I have the final outlook just templated so that I can see what's going on, and the spine displayed right here. And now I just need to make sure that it goes up on top. So we have a variable up here. Did I make a copy of it over here? Nope. So I have it up here. Basically, I need to move it to the top. Where is it? Roof slope, roof depth. There we go. I moved it a little bit lower down. The roof height. So I'm just going to copy this expression because I know that is exactly the expression that we need. Okay, go to transform, add a transform, and on the translate Y, paste that there, and it should move us right on top. Let's display that there. There we go. And obviously with the flat tiles, that is not exactly what we need. We need it to be bent a little bit. And I added a rotation, so that's why it's going kind of down. So we might need to offset it slightly so that way it's not being cropped off or extrude the top tiles more. Oh, no problem. I appreciate it. Yeah, I really wanted to get this done. This is like my third time trying to get this house tutorial done, and I think it's something that a lot of people have been looking for, so hopefully you guys find it useful. Okay, so let's take the transform. We have this whole height here, and let's add 0.1 to it, so plus 0.1, just so that it's slightly over it, maybe not that much. 0.05. There we go, just so that it's not going through the roof there. Then we have this bend attribute. Like I said, we can overshoot it, but we need to make it an expression. We have the angle already created. Actually, am I bending it the right way? Yeah, I'm bending it the right way. Great. And actually, kind of looking at it, I have the, let's see, where did I do that? Where did I add the rotation? I have the rotation here. I'm going to make this 0 at this stage, but then after I do the bends, and maybe even after I do the extrude, I'm going to add another transform because it was bending a little bit weird because I had added the rotation before I did the bend. So, oops, I think I just put a number in there, so like 7 degrees. So that way we don't have that skewing with the tiles. That looks better. Okay, so we have the angle of the roof that we've been getting with the slope of the roof here. So that's the length, and we have the rotation here. So let's copy this expression, which is the basically the expression that we've always had for the angle of the roof. And in this bend here, I'm going to paste that And did I do anything special with this one? I'm minus 180 degrees, so let's take that out for now and then see if we need to adjust it once we've created it. So we bent it. It's bending the wrong way, so let's make this multiplied by -1. So -1 times that. That should get us in the right direction. And then I'm going to multiply all of this by 2, because I think it needs to be doubled because it's rotating on both sides. Do it even more. There we go. So that way it's kind of curving along there. And that now, as we adjust the height, let me save this before I change this. So if I change the roof height, it should become more and more. And actually, it looks like it's going to be doing everything in reverse. Let's take a look at putting the roof height down this way, so we can see that it's becoming tighter and tighter as we're doing that there. Let me see if I do the tangent and then not multiply it by -1. Will that be better? It doesn't look like it, so let's do that. So here it's too tight. Take that multiplied by 5. And then if we make this all negative, actually, let's see. Let's change this now and see what's going on with the roof height. So we can see that the rotation is actually becoming less and less when we are doing that. And I want it to actually be like a steeper angle. Let's see, we have sine and cosine. Let's try all of them. Let's see if we make this negative. Times -1. There we go. And let's see if this is adjusting the right height now. Have I made any tutorials about Houdini engine for Maya? There's not sufficient tutorials. I hope we will cover them in the future. Yes, well, no, I don't have any tutorials on that yet, but that's something that is on my to-do list because I'm going to be doing a lot more procedural workflow type stuff. Specifically because of that, I want to actually focus a lot more on the Houdini engine because the Unreal game jam for the spring is actually coming up next month, and it is sponsored by Side Effects Houdini. So they're giving out free 2 months licenses to actually work with the engine for the indie version of Houdini. So I want to participate in the game jam, but I think it'd be kind of beneficial for anybody else that wants to do that and wants to use Houdini in that workflow and to get more of the information that they need to be able to do that out there. So yeah, I don't have any tutorials on it yet, but I will be doing a lot more of that within this next month. Let's see. Yeah, so with the cosine, we are doing exactly what we need. Let's take this and multiply it. Let's try it by 5. So as we adjust the height, oh, not the door height, but the roof height, it all adapts. Great. So we can see that it actually like wraps around the geometry there, which is what we want. And I was kind of just guessing with the ×5 because there's some sort of fall off with the bend. I might need to look at how the bend actually works, but I might set this as like an offset. Oops. Not 44, but just 4. That looks a little bit better than what we had before. It was a little bit too much before. Okay, so now we have that. Let's add a little bit of geometry to the doors and windows. We have them basically being created up here with the way up here with all the Boolean stuff that we did on the first tutorial. So over here we have the house depth, roof shape. Did I not name them? Let's see. Yep, these are all the things that we Booleaned out. So let's see, that's the roof shape, that's the front door. Oop. We have the front door, so we can actually use that as part of the information that we're going to get for the door. And we have the door height. We don't have a door width, so let's add that as a parameter. Let's go in and edit parameter interface, add another float, and this one's going to be door width, and then we'll make the parameter door width, and let's put that next to the door height. And I don't know what the default value is. Let's just put 1 for the default value for now, and accept. And then let's copy that parameter. Copy parameter, and oops. There you go. And the width is on the X. Paste relative reference. So now if we change the door width, we should be able to see that that changes. Great. So now we have something to create the door width. And let's, because this is being Booleaned out, and I want it kind of thicker when I'm Booleaning it out, just in case I get some weird settings and it overshoots it. But basically, I'm just going to kind of go down here where we're merging things, and let's create a transform. And this transform will connect into the merge, and let's move this kind of out of the way. Let's not move that one. And I think there's like a dot. I don't know what they're called. They're like little ways to organize the lines, but I don't remember what they're called right now. Okay, so we have the door here. Let's visualize this door. And I want to basically scale it down on this transform. And not on the X, but on the Z. Say we make it like 0.1, 0.01. That's great. And then let's move it back into Z, negative 0.01. That way it's nested in. and we kind of have a geometry for the door. If we wanted to add a door handle and things like that, we can, and base it off of the height, but I'm just going to put a placeholder right here, and then basically anything that you guys want to add for details, connect it into this chain of information that we're getting there for the door. And then let's find the windows. That's the roof shape. Okay, here's the windows. And I believe we're getting these two nodes. Those are the nodes that are going to be generating the geometry for the windows. So I'm going to go down here, create a transform. Actually, on this one, if we do the transform the way I was thinking, we scale it, it's actually not going to work for us. Because the door worked because we were at the origin. But I'll show you guys really quick, show you that it won't work. Doing it the same way, because you can see that it's going to shift it because of the pivot. We can actually tell it that the pivot is in a different place and things like that. But I'm gonna kind of use what we have here and just copy it, and then basically have another chain that is building the same thing, but will make the window and not connect it to the Boolean. So we have the windows here. Those are all the nodes that we need to create the windows. So I'm going to copy that. Let's disconnect that because that was something that was added when we did the transform. And paste it. We have all these nodes. Oh, we need these two too, so let's undo that. Add these nodes, copy and paste. And now we have this for the windows, and if we add them down here, we should have all of the geometry. Let's see, what geometry do we have there? We have that one, and then we have that one, so we need to connect both of these into a merge. Put that there, this one here, push Y, cut that, and connect this into the merge. So now we should have all the geometry. There you go. So let's take this box and on the X, make it smaller. And let's just visualize this so that way we can see what's going on. And then we can add the details on the box that we want to here for the window. So let's say on this one, we can maybe change this to polygon mesh. And on the Z, not the Z, the X, we just want 2. And let's leave it polygon. No, we'll go back to polygon mesh. We'll make it all 2. 2, 2, and 2. And then we're going to take these two faces here. So let's switch over to our selection mode. We got these faces. And then let's do a polygon extrude. And then the first extrude is just going to be inset. And then we're going to do another poly extrude, and then this one is going to be a negative distance, which brings it in, and that gives us our windows. And if we look at everything when it merges through, go to display over here. We should have geometry there for the windows now. And then, like with the doors, you can add whatever details you need to make it, like if you wanted the cross pattern for the framing and things like that and wanted to add a window ledge on this particular chain of events, anything that you want, like you can add a merge here. So if we have a merge there, and let's say we wanted kind of like a little planter that goes on the bottom or something like that there, do a box, for example. Oh, I put a bend. I want a box. There we go. Put that down there, and then let's make it less tall like that. Bring it down. And then something kind of like that. And offset it. You can see that this side is kind of not inverted, so we would need to change that as well. So on this one here, let's delete the channels here, put it at 0, and then we'll scale it -1 on X, and then just add a reverse node, and it will do the same thing. So that way it's not flipped. That way the normals aren't pointing in the right direction. And we looked at everything, we kind of have that window sill at the bottom. And obviously this is kind of really low poly and just a quick example, but you can put whatever you want in there. Let's add a little bit of framing on the edges here, because typically I've been looking at a lot of the houses, they have a little edge here that will kind of clean up the edges so that you don't see this type of situation here, and it makes it have a cleaner look when you look at the houses when they're finished off. So that is what I'm going to do. I did notice that it's kind of different where they don't have that edge if it's not like wood to wood on each side. If it's kind of like brick on one side, at least the houses here around where I live, and then it's wood on the other side, they usually don't have that framing edge. But if it's kind of wood to wood, the way I have it here, it will. Oops. So let's create a box. And on the X, I'm going to make it 0.1, and on the Z, 0.1. We want the height to be driven by the height of the house. So let's copy parameters and paste relative reference here. Then we also want it to be moved up by half the height. So copy parameter, paste relative reference, and times 0.5. There we go. And then now we just need to offset it to each side. So what we're going to need is a transform. And actually, for as simple as this is, we can probably do it all within the box. So let's do that on the X. So we're going to base it off the width. So let's copy parameter here, paste relative reference, times 0.5. We got 1 there. So copy, paste. It's going to be the same thing, but negative. So we got the 2 edges there. Let's add a merge node. Merge both of these, bringing it into the shape of the house there. Let's kind of going through a little bit, so I'll subtract from the edge. And that's just because these are super thin. It's right at the right height. It's just small, so I'll just subtract a tiny bit from it, so that way it's not going through on the height of these. So we got the height that's driven here, and then minus 0.01. See if is that enough? Nope. Minus 0.05. That looks like it's going to be enough. Yep. So I'm going to copy this expression and paste it here. What happened? Let's delete that. I don't know what I did wrong. I'm going to copy and paste that, bring it over here, and then just take the x value and make it negative. There we go. We have that on both sides now. Now we just need them in the back. So we're going to add another transform. Connect that in there, and then this is going to be pushed back on the z based off of the depth of the house. So let's copy that parameter, and in the z, paste it, paste relative reference, and we need to push it in the negative direction. So then we have the framing there. And that should give us a pretty flexible house. We can adjust all the settings that we need, the height of the house, the width of the house, the depth of the house. We can add the values here. Oops, you don't want to go past 0. Of the height of the house. Then we have the parameters for the door, so we can adjust them there. We can also make more or less windows, and we can add windows going up. Obviously, with as short as this house is right now, we probably don't need multiple windows, but let's increase the height here, and then having multiple windows makes more sense. There we go. We can do something similar to that to have multiple windows on the front of the house, and maybe even have like an attic window or something like that. But I think this gives you guys enough of a foundation to understand how to do all the elements of the house. At this point, it's just adding more of this to add more of the details. I hope you guys got a lot out of it, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Also, I'll be doing more kind of Houdini procedural workflows for games using the Houdini engine coming up, so I hope you guys are excited about that, because I really am. Yep. All right. We'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great day.